Hello dear viewers and welcome to Soccer Stories. Today, let's talk about the 2014 World Cup held in Brazil. After so many years, it was the turn of South America again to be the host of the 20th edition of the World Cup. Befittingly, so it seemed, as the lot fell on Brazil, the most accomplished football team in planet Earth, for a second time since 1950, after Colombia, the other contender in the fray, withdrew its bid. A fifth World Cup in South American soil did indeed raise a lot of expectations, as none among them had the opportunity to lift the game's holy grail since 2002. The focus, of course, was more on the home team, but eventually what transpired did send shockwaves across the footballing world as Brazil suffered its worst ever humiliating defeat in the global event. Again, the Maracana proved to be a curse for the Brazilians, bringing back memories of the 1950 final against Uruguay. The event finally was to end in favor of Germany, as it became the first European country to win the World Cup in South America. Two novelties FIFA introduced in this World Cup was the goal line technology and the vanishing spray for free kicks. France was the first country to benefit from the technology, as their second goal against Honduras was confirmed using it. The World Cup was also unique in another ways, as it was for the first time that all previous winners qualified. Bosnia and Herzegovina were the lone debutant, which saw the return of Colombia after 16 years, while Belgium and Russia made their first appearance in 12 years. Defending champion Spain also failed to progress beyond the first round, becoming in the process the fourth nation to be eliminated while holding the World Cup. The opening stanza of Brazil at the top of its group did suggest that it could go all the way. A Neymar brace helped Brazil to beat Croatia 3-1, and though it did seemingly lose some momentum in the goalless draw against Mexico, Brazil did bounce back smartly to wallop Cameroon 4-0 in its last league encounter. Mexico finished second in the group with wins over the other two sides. Spain, after its Euro triumph in 2012, looked as if it was in line to become the first team since Brazil in 1962 to defend the World Cup crown. The tried and tested tiki-taka tactics, which had taken it to the summit in 2010, sandwiched with two Euro titles, Spain was again under the managership of Vicente del Bosque. However, Spain suffered one of its worst defeats at the international level when the Netherlands handed it a crushing 5-1 defeat in the opening Group B contest. When Xabi Alonso put Spain ahead in the 26th minute, none expected the carnage which was to follow in the second half. After Robin van Persie grabbed a late equalizer in the first half, Netherlands exploded in the second half to pump in 4 more goals. Spain lost its second consecutive match to crash out of the tournament as Chile scored a 2-0 win over it. The 3-0 win over Australia was a small consolation for the defending champions. Netherlands crushed both Australia and Chile to finish with an all-win record, leaving the latter second in the group. In Group C, Colombia rode on James Rodriguez's superb form to win all its matches. Rodriguez scored in all matches to announce his arrival at the world stage. Greece qualified for the second round for the first time, finishing second in the group. A spate of upsets in Group D saw bigwigs England and Italy crash out in the first round itself. It was one of the toughest groups, with Uruguay and Costa Rica also in the fray. Uruguay, with the European-based strikers Edinson Cavani and Luis Suarez, was expected to give the Euro heavyweights a run for their money. However, it was Costa Rica which became the group champions with wins over Italy and Uruguay. A brace from Luis Suarez shut out England. However, the striker grabbed the headlines for the wrong reasons in the match against Italy. Involved in a tussle with Italian defender Giorgio Chiellini, Suarez leaned onto the latter's shoulder, and seconds later the Italian pulled up his shirt to reveal bite marks. But surprisingly, the referee didn't penalize Suarez and signaled to play on. However, as criticism mounted, FIFA acted with firmness and Suarez was banned for 9 matches and sent home. Still, Uruguay beat Italy 1-0 when its captain Diego Godin rose over a cluster of bodies to head home the winner at the 81st minute. France and Switzerland qualified from Group E as the first and second place teams. So too did Argentina from a relatively weak Group F after winning all their matches. But Iran stonewalled all the sorties from Argentina before a Messi special free kick in the 90th minute fetched a last gasp win. Portugal failed to qualify from Group G after the United States edged it out on goal difference. Portugal's 0-4 loss to Germany in the opening match was a disaster, and its poor form continued against the Americans, managing only a draw. But Portugal had a mountain to climb when it took on Ghana in the last match. Though it won 2-1, the Portuguese had required the win by a much bigger margin to qualify. Germany, which started in style crushing Portugal 4-0 in Group G, qualified as a top team while the United States sneaked in second. Belgium won all its matches in Group F, however, Algeria proved to be the surprise packet here, finishing ahead of Russia to qualify. In the pre-quarterfinals, Chile came up with a gallant effort to hold Brazil 1-1 and to push the match into the tiebreaker. Beyond, it was as it were to be a trendsetter of what was to follow, 5 of the 8 matches in this round being decided via the shootout. This also resulted in a perceptible drop in the goal average as the teams tread cautiously. The Brazilians, after a great start, faded away as Chile, led by Vidal and Alexis Sanchez, harassed the hosts. Sanchez found the equalizer in the first half. Both the sides had enough chances to grab the winner during the regular time and extra time, but in the shootout that followed, Brazil came out triumphs 3-2 to advance to the quarterfinals. A brace from Maxi Rodriguez was enough for Colombia to defeat Uruguay. Argentina again struggled for the breakthrough against Switzerland. The match went into extra time and Angel Di Maria found the target in the 118th minute to save the blushes for his side. Algeria offered stubborn resistance to Germany and held them goalless during regular time to push the match to extra time. Germany sneaked ahead in the 92nd minute through Andre Schürrle. Mesut Ozil doubled the lead in the 120th minute, but Algeria grabbed a consolation goal in the 121st minute. Costa Rica entered the quarter-final for the first time after beating Greece in the tiebreaker. France, Belgium and Netherlands completed the quarter-final lineup. Brazil overcame Colombia 2-1 to enter the semi-finals for the first time after 2002. But the victory came at a heavy expense as their star player Neymar was injured in his back and took no further part in the tournament. Argentina defeated Belgium by a solitary goal, while Germany also prevailed over France by the same margin. Costa Rica bowed out of the tournament without losing a single match. In the quarterfinals, Costa Rica held the Netherlands scoreless in extra time. The match went into a shootout and Netherlands prevailed 4-3. The Maracana was silenced as Germany handed a 7-1 thrashing to Brazil in the first semi-final. The Brazil defense made schoolboy errors before the side was handed its worst ever defeat in the history of the World Cup. Thomas Müller opened the scoring in the 11th minute. Toni Kroos helped himself to a brace, while Miroslav Klose and Sami Khedira found the back of the net to facilitate Germany take an inassailable lead 5-1 at halftime. Andre Schürrle scored twice in the second half to bury a hapless Brazil. The Netherlands-Argentina semi-final turned out to be a dreary affair with the South Americans' watertight defense balking the free-flowing game of the Dutch. Arjen Robben, who was instrumental in creating so many chances in the previous matches for the Dutch, was tightly policed. Argentinian defender Javier Mascherano made a match-saving tackle when Robben scurried free and was about to shoot with his left foot. That was the best chance Netherlands had in the entire match. The Argentinians finished as the better menacing side, but the match went into penalties. Argentina's goalkeeper, Sergio Romero, turned away shots from Ron Vlaar and Wesley Sneijder to put Argentina into the finals for the first time since 1990. The final was a repeat of the 1990, the Argentinians being pitted against Germany. The Germans, with the resounding semi-final win against Brazil, had peaked at the right time and were the favourites. The first half saw Gonzalo Higuain failing to beat the German goalkeeper Manuel Neuer in a 1-1 situation. Messi too froze before Neuer in the first half. Thomas Müller failed to beat Sergio Romero in the second half as the match went into extra time. Substitute Mario Götze turned out to be unlikely hero when he volleyed home the winning goal in the 113th minute. Gotze chested the pass from Schule and stabbed home to end Germany's 24-year wait for title. This was Germany's 4th title and the first as a unified nation. With this, we have come to the end of today's episode. Stay tuned to Striking Seconds for more soccer stories. Until then, hasta la vista.